Hey, what's up, guys? I'm going to try a different kind of video today. I'm gonna go over the resume that landed me my first job at Amazon, and this was like my first time getting a job in big tech, and it was in the middle of COVID. I recently, a little bit of background about me, I've always been really interested in startups and working in startups. After I graduated from college, I knew I kind of wanted to join a startup and try that life. Everybody promises that startups are rapid growth and really good work experience, so I bought into it, and I really wanted to, I gave it a shot, even then I had offers for a couple big tech companies, but I never really wanted to go that route. It seemed like really boring and a little monotonous, and not shitting on anybody who ended up going that route right out of college. I think that it's a very stable job and like very stable career, but you lose some of the excitement of being young and sort of like trying things that you probably would never really have the opportunity to later on in life, and that's what really drew me to trying out at a startup. So if you don't know me, or this is your first time on my channel, I'm Tech Pastry. I upload videos about tech, about coding, finance, just general life stuff. I'm a 27-year-old working in New York City, and I've been operating this YouTube channel for like about 2 years, and my goal is to help you break into tech and land your dream job. My background has been software engineering, and I had startup experience and some experience as a founder. So I have my resume in front of me. Oh, and last thing, if you like this video and you like my other videos, smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and help me gain my following. It really motivates me and helps me understand like what kind of videos you like and what kind of videos really help you as a new computer science student, as like a candidate. I've been in that position before, so I totally understand like how daunting it might be. So let's just like jump into the meat of it. First thing for a resume, I think you should always make it one page. Anything larger than one page, you run the risk of recruiters just glossing over it. These recruiters get like thousands and thousands of resumes every day, so it's hard to look at a 2-page resume and really focus in on it and spend enough time to understand like your work experience. So make it one page, make it short. Put yourself in the recruiter's shoes and understand that like they don't have time for you. Like, and with all due respect, like we're all lovely people and we're all great people, but they don't have time for us. There's just too many papers that they have to look at. They will only look at your resume for about 6 seconds, so you must pass the 6-second test. So 1-page resume. My resume is exactly 1 page. Whenever I get past 1 page, I will start taking stuff out, removing bullets. I'm 27, so for me, like I know that I will not have enough work experience that is notable at my age to go past 1 page. If you have like 20 years of work experience, fine, maybe you can have a 2-page resume, but other than that, keep it short at 1 page. Break it up into multiple key sections. I broke mine up into name, LinkedIn. I have my location here. I redacted it to protect my identity online, as well as emails and websites. This is just sort of as marketing materials, like easy ways of showing portfolio and building some interest in the recruiters that look at your resume. Next big section, I always put education. So education is the big one if you're early on in your career. If you're later on in your career, education can go lower, but big bold letters, just call out your education. It's not a hard requirement for CS and a lot of jobs nowadays, but it helps you differentiate yourself and definitely makes you stand out from the pack. If there's 1,000 resumes for the same position and you have a computer science degree, you're already in the top like 5%, maybe top like 10%. So if you have that education, just put it big and bold in the very front if you're early on in your career. Later on in your career, you can move it down to the back. Work experience becomes more important, but definitely make it known that you have a degree. So University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, computer engineering, GPA 3.0, everything that's important. Computer science is interesting because it's one of those fields where GPA really isn't that important. So if you don't want to put it there, if it's below 3.0, just leave it out. It's not super important. You don't need to keep it there. Next, work experience. So this is very important. This is what they hire you on. So make sure it's big and bold, make it the longest section on your resume. If you don't have a lot of work experience, make up some work experience. Like, I'm not saying lie, but add projects, add like side projects. If you did something fun with your friends, like maybe a hackathon, add that kind of experience because that is really important. It shows that you have the ability of doing the job if you were hired. So every company should have its own bullet point. Every company, if you've worked there longer than 3 months, you should have at least 1 or 2 bullet points of like what you do. Keep it high level and really showcase your accomplishments. Something that I wish I did with this resume was I outlined stuff in the STAR method. And I do this in future resumes, but I didn't do it in this one. But just like how you do in an interview, list out your experiences using STAR, which is situation, task, action, and result. That way you can tell a really great story along with your bullet point. So for example, if we were to rewrite this now with additional knowledge, instead of saying like led development of a two-sided marketplace service with 10,000 active customers, share about like how you did that, like why did that situation come up, and like how did you approach that problem, and what was the result of it. So for this, for example, like led development, you could say like situation was we're building a two-sided marketplace. The task was to create the technical approach and lead the other developers on the team. The action was assigning work and checking in every few weeks to make sure development is going well. And the result was we launched it and we acquired 10,000 customers. So that framework helps create a very compelling story that lets you really put your best foot forward and helps you gain attention from recruiters and hiring managers. Every work experience should have one giant bullet. Keep it simple, keep it sweet. The company, your position, the bullet points that you did, the location, that could be optional now that everything's remote, and the times that you did it. So for example, like HerbalRx was this company I tried to start. I set the start time, the start date, and it's my current job, so I didn't put an end date. But for Hairdo, which was a company that I started working on as an early stage employee, I listed September 2017 to June 2019, and I listed all the important information there. This is important because this is where recruiters will start determining your level based on like what you do in your job description, as well as the years of experience that you were there. So in big tech, there's differentiation by level. So for example, if you worked 0 to 3 years of experience, you would be considered entry level. 2 to 5 years experience would be considered mid-level, and then 5+ would be considered senior. So recruiters will always look at your resume and then determine your level based on like what you've done and based on how many years of experience you have. So for example, a mid-level might be more concerned with design docs. So if you're aiming for mid-level, make sure you highlight your design work and what you do on the design side of writing code, not just executing code. Executing code typically is for entry level. So if you want to aim for an entry level, make sure you emphasize your execution and your code writing, and make sure that they know that you're able to write code and quickly and efficiently. So each one, I create a bullet, even if it's short. If it's something that is notable in either company prestige or position or work, then make sure you write it on your resume. You can always take stuff out. When you're doing your first initial run, just put everything you can, and then just take out the stuff that you don't really want to talk about in the interview. So for example, Uber, even though I did a short software engineering internship, Uber is a selective company, so I wanted to keep that on my resume. It adds a little bit of allure and also makes it competitive, because typically big tech recruiters aren't really competing against startups for talent. Typically big tech recruiters are competing against other big tech recruiters. So if you show that you're eligible, like you were selected to work at like a company like Facebook, suddenly Google is a lot more interested in you, because now by taking you from Facebook, they can get an employee and Facebook loses an employee. So it's like a win-win. So typically big tech recruiters will compete with other big tech companies, and if you can show that you worked at one of them, suddenly become a lot more appealing for the other companies. So once you have a good work experience section, typically after that, I like to add a little bit of a unique twist. For me, like, my background is entrepreneurship, so I like having a section called Successful Ventures. These are just like companies or apps that I like have built up, and I eventually either sold off or made an exit, or it's just something that it's cool that I want to highlight. So I have 3, Better Battery, Burn It, which was an iOS app, and My Gradebook, which is also an iOS app. I was generating revenue on these. I thought they were cool projects, so I listed them on my resume, and it just adds a little bit of uniqueness to my resume that makes it stand out a little bit from the pack. These companies get so many resumes, and the worst possible thing is to be a very typical CS student where you have like an average GPA, or come from like a normal, like a regular, like a state school, and you know JavaScript or like React, like very typical. So if you have something unique that you do on the side, like for example, if you build like if you're into music and you built a music app to like use at parties, or if you are into basketball and you started like a sports analytics thing, post that on your resume, because it makes it so much more unique, and it shows that you have a passion for CS, which is very hard to come by nowadays. So for me, like, entrepreneurship is my background, so I listed my successful ventures, and in addition to that, I attended a lot of hackathons, so I wanted to list my awards. I think that is unique and gives me an edge in the stack of resumes. So Hack MIT, which I won a sponsor prize, Vandy Hacks, which I won a sponsor prize. I was featured on one of the apps I worked on was featured on the App Store. When I worked at Hairdo, I landed first place at the Pure Undergraduate Research and second place on this Microsoft OS design competition in college. So these were all interesting points I wanted to list on my resume. And then, of course, you always need to have a skills section. At the very bottom, I always list my skills. So these are the 7 programming languages that I know. So I list it to sort of get past the revenue blockers, the resume blockers, and just make sure that they know that I'm able to execute and write code in the languages that they're hiring for. So overall, it's nothing crazy. This is an early to mid-stage software engineer resume, and this will this helped me get me into Amazon and land my first job in big tech. If you're interested in me reviewing your resume, check the link in the description. I want to help you, and I was thinking about doing live resume reviews where you send me your resume and I will give you bullet points on how to improve it, how to rewrite it, and what you can do to make it better. If you're interested in that, check out the link in the bio. I think that it would be cool to do some sort of live resume review session. If you're interested in that, leave a note when you do your submission. Yeah, Working in big tech is very similar to working at a startup, and a lot of software. I know like a lot of software engineers are working in startups and doing their own thing. But like a lot of times, the hardest part in these jobs are getting in the door. So having a strong resume and like having a strong network or support system is definitely helpful for breaking in. And I hope you found this useful. I think that my goal is to sort of demystify like what like getting into FAANG, and I know this is something that a lot of people aim to do. So I hope that this review is useful, and if you enjoy this, just hit subscribe and smash the like button. It really helps me and gives me a little bit more motivation to keep posting these. I definitely do this outside of work, and it's just something that I thought I would do to give back, because I was a little lost in life a few years ago, and I bet you, like, I know there's a lot of people who were in my position a couple years ago, so I really hope that this helps and gives a little bit of more guidance and helps you land your dream job. So thank you for watching, and have a great day, guys.